Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Bad Guitarist Podcast. My name is Andrew.
And my name is Kat.
And this is episode 5. And we've got a lot to talk about this time. This week, there was a lot of releases, a lot of pedals. We're not going to do any guitars today.
Okay.
There's so many pedals. I would even label this as the biggest week in pedal releases of the year.
Biggest
maybe.
Statement.
So let's jump on into this.
Okay.
Let's start with this one because it's one that we missed last week.
Okay.
You know, I'm sorry, gotta grab the mouse here. So Summer School Electronics, we missed this one. This was like a week or two ago.
I don't know those.
So Summer School Electronics, he is a school teacher. So all his pedals are, school themed. He's got the, this is the extra credit boost.
Okay.
So extra credit boost is 2 pedals in one with a toggle switch to the left. Extra credit is a 1-knob op-amp boost. Toggle to the right, extra credit becomes a transistor-based boost. This engages the brightness control for extra top-end sparkle and grit to be added to the signal. Works as grit into your chain for solos, in front of your favorite overdrive for added grit, or an always-on preamp. Pretty cool. You can get standard yellow with black knobs, red LED. You can get some different color variations. He also offers, I believe, I think he does custom colorways too. If you reach out to him.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So if we look here, select color, you can get limited edition orange or yellow, $149. That's pretty good for a boutique hand-built, hand-wired pedal.
I think it looks really nice though.
Yeah, I'll show you real quick some of his other ones. He's got some cool ones. Well, maybe I won't. But yeah, Summer School Electronics. He's one of those companies that started during the pandemic. Need a little something extra to do. So you can see he's got the class reunion, science fair.
Oh, that's so cute.
Pep rally, snow day delay, half day compressor, the gust drive. This is the one where you can order and have your pet put on the pedal.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
So that's pretty cool. He's got the Gladys, the Gus, Trash Panda. Pretty cool company. Yeah. So $149. What do you think?
I don't know.
Would you buy it?
Being completely honest, it's the first time that I hear about the company, but you said it yourself. It's a boutique company.
Yeah, it's just one guy builds them at home.
But I will say this though.
Yeah.
I didn't know the company. I do like the way the pedals look. I had to say, for being just one guy building pedals at home, it looks very professional.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
It looks really nice for being just a one guy.
I mean, he's got his brand established and he's sticking to it, Yeah. Every pedal he's kind of keeping with theme.
The website looks good.
Yeah, it's a very professional website.
I will think if you don't know that this is just a one guy thing, you will think it's a big company.
Yeah, I mean, I think he might even have like some kind of distribution. I think he does have some kind of. I could be wrong on that. I don't know if he's got dealers right here on the website. Let's see who he's got.
Okay.
Gorham Brothers Music in Syracuse, New York. I believe he's based in Syracuse, New York.
Huh.
Troy, New York. Love of Fuzz. Bees Music Shop. That's a really famous one in Michigan.
Okay.
Mountain Music in Oakland, California. Audio Light Music. Rusty's Cool. Yeah, he's got a bunch of... Lone Star Music in Mesa.
There's a lot of stores that do sell these guys' pedals.
So we do have one local store here in Arizona.
Okay.
So that's cool. I'm not going to go through his whole list, but... Yeah, I just wanted to cover that one because I know it's a cool company and we missed it last week somehow.
Okay.
So I think he might have debuted this one at the Fretboard Summit, which is a big gathering.
Okay.
So yeah, I just want to touch on that one real quick because we missed that one. And then here's another one that came out about a week ago. Haven't seen a whole lot about it. I've seen a couple videos come out about it, but not a whole lot of talk on it. I think 2 or 3 pedal guys on YouTube I've seen do it. I don't know why.
Okay.
$79.99. It's the WEM Copycat Preamp Boost. So WEM, that was a brand of amplifiers back in the day, 70s. Okay. This one is a preamp and booster. It's based around a preamp section of an old school like tape delay unit. Not a whole lot going on there. It's just 2 knobs.
It looks really simple.
Yeah, that's the logo, the WEM. That's the logo that they originally had. It looks like this is actually manufactured and sold by High Watt Amplifiers, so big name amp company. Every once in a while they make some pedals, but looks like they've brought back this brand to do a couple pedals. There's this, and then I can't find it anywhere.
What?
But Andy Martin in his video where he did this pedal, he talks about there being a hand-wired version.
Okay.
Made in the UK. And it's just a bigger enclosure, but it's hand-wired, and you can put 2 9-volt batteries in it to power it to get to 18 volts, because this pedal allows you to do 9 or 18 volts.
What's the difference between one and the other?
It gives you more headroom, so more space in the signal before it starts to like break up and distort.
Oh.
So a little bit more clarity before it starts to break up, kind of like an amplifier. So, yeah, let's see. It says the Watkins Copycat holds an undeniable place in rock history. One of the first tape delay units that was commercially available, used by artists like Robert Fripp of King Crimson, Rory Gallagher, Phil Manzanera. But modern players, there's Jeff Tweedy of Wilco.
Okay.
John Dwyer of the OCs. So I listened to a couple demos on this, and it sounds really good.
It seems really simple.
You could have it as like an always-on kind of boost kind of thing, or you know, it completely adds character to your amplifier and kind of pushes it over the top a little bit. Not quite an overdrive, but it can definitely push it like an overdrive. And if you have an already crunchy amp, it could definitely give you a little bit like fuzz character. But $79.99, I think that's unbelievable. That's a great price for it. I mean, they could easily sell this for $150, and people would probably, you know, pay for it.
The brand?
Yeah.
Oh.
And every once in a while, I have actually played a couple of their amps, because there used to be a music store in Phoenix called Music Brokers.
Okay.
It was in the back room of a pawn shop, and they were labeled as 2 separate businesses, but it was, you had to go through the pawn shop to get to the store.
Oh.
So I don't know if it was a guy that rented space from the pawn shop to have the store, but it was almost all the stuff they sold there was vintage music gear. So me and my friends in high school used to go there all the time. And
okay.
Yeah, he had old Matt amp amplifiers. He had classic high watts. He had WEM amps and Sun amps. Old like Vox teardrop guitars. Those, I think I've shown you those before. They're literally shaped kind of like a teardrop. But yeah, $79.99. Just a cool, I don't know, 60s and 70s style preamp distortion. I don't know. What do you think about the design? It's got that cat on there.
I don't know. Again, it's really simple. It just has 2 knobs.
Yeah.
Not much going on.
Yeah, it's kind of just like the last one we looked at, except this one doesn't have the switch on it. Kind of achieves a similar thing. You know, it's different circuits completely, but get you a little preamp and boost. You could put it anywhere in your signal at the beginning, the end. Beef up your overdrive.
You say you think it's unbelievable that it's no more expensive.
Yeah. I
think looking at the pedal and looking at what it does, that is just a fair price.
Okay. But again, this one's $79.99. I can't even talk. $79.99 compared to the Summer School Electronics one with $150.
I mean, but you had to add that that's compared to the other one. The other one is a boutique, so it's a really small company.
Yeah, it gets added value there for having been.
It's
handmade.
Not just like the added value or the design. So I can see why the other one is more expensive than this one.
And looking into it a little bit more, it says these were made in Taiwan.
I mean,
so,
I was about to say that. This one was made in
mass
Taiwan.
Produced, yeah.
So
I don't know if these are...
I think it's totally fair for the other one to be a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, and I don't see anywhere where this says this is like a limited quantity or anything. So if it's made in Taiwan, they probably made at least, you know, maybe 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 units just to keep up with, keep production costs low. They had to buy them in bulk, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, there's no product reviews. This is exclusive to Reverb, too. You can't buy this anywhere else right now.
Why do they do that, though?
They partner with Reverb. I'm not sure exactly what the... a lot of brands have been doing that lately.
No, I was about to say, like, a lot of brands seems to have that going on.
Like that Earthquaker release last week. I think that was exclusive to Reverb as well.
I think we were talking about that, too, though.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was another one from, like, last week that came out. It says... Yeah, they listed this 8 days ago. So
okay.
Don't know how many they have for sale. It just says 10 plus on stock, but it's it's not going to tell you exactly how many.
Okay.
3,400 people have looked at it. 177 watchers, so I'm sure people are buying it. Okay, we have I think 11 more other pedals to look at. Jump into one of the big ones?
Go ahead.
All right. Walrus Audio.
Okay.
They've been talking about this for a long time. They slowly hinted around this because they started phasing out the Mako series.
Why do I feel that I have seen it before?
I used to have the version 1 of the R1. I had the version 1, and I had complaints about it. And it looks like other people had complaints because they've...
What was the complaint?
We'll jump into that in just a moment because I just want to go over real quick what they did here. So yeah, they started phasing out sales on the version 1 of all these pedals.
Okay.
So all the dealers started dropping them by like $100 and $150. There were some holiday sales where you can buy them for like super cheap. Because regular price is $3.99, $4.99.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are supposed to be like an all-in-one supercomputer pedal for whatever genre of effect you had. So there's the amp and cap simulator, the D1 delay, the R1 reverb, which is the one I had, the M1 modulation. So that should be everything you need for that type of effect.
Okay.
That's kind of the mindset behind that. Now, just because they were phasing out the version 1s doesn't mean that they're going to stop doing support for them. So they also, when they released this new version 2, or the Mark II, they put out a new firmware update for the version 1s.
Okay.
So the version 1s, like, you get all new algorithms for the reverbs, the delays, the modulations. So they're not just leaving people hanging with no final update on that. They're giving people something good. So my complaint with the
I don't remember what
version
was your
1.
complaint.
So if you look at this new version,
okay,
there's a screen on every single one of these pedals.
Yeah, I see the screen.
So version 1 had flip switches. And the flip switches were very confusing because each switch was routed to a knob.
Okay.
And so the knobs controlled whatever parameter your switch was set to. But if you're twiddling around on the fly here and you don't remember which setting you have the switch on, let's say you have the switch all the way to the left, you're adjusting whatever parameter there, and then you switch it over to the middle, you adjust there. Well, when you go back to the left, your knob could be all the way to the right, but the sound that you had it set to, the parameter, could have been all the way to the left before you flipped that switch previously, if that makes any sense.
No, it doesn't make sense to me.
So
I'm sorry.
It was very confusing to use. That's why they have presets in them, so you can program the presets, find what you like. If you're playing live, you're not twiddling around messing around with the knobs. You just kind of boom, 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 get all your sounds right then and there for each song.
I mean, but we go back to the same thing that I've been talking about since the beginning of this, whatever the heck we do here.
The podcast.
The podcast.
Yeah.
For someone like me, who's just starting to get into this kind of war, there's something as complex as this is.
Yeah.
This is really difficult to understand.
I mean, I think these are good updates. I think this version 2 is an answer to a lot of people's concerns.
Okay.
But I still don't think I would want to personally take the time to program one of these.
Do you think it's better than the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, definitely. Especially if you go into the cab sim right here, the ACS1.
Okay.
So it's an amp and cabinet simulator. So we've been talking about these a lot lately.
Yeah.
The version 1, I believe you just had 3 modes on it. You had a Fender, a Vox, and a Marshall amp. I think those are 3 main, and you can you can modify and set up your own sound on those and stuff. And you can, I believe, through their software, their firmware, you could do. I'm not even sure. I don't know if there's an app or if it's just a program you can connect to the computer, because I didn't have this one. But you have a bunch of different combinations here in this one, so it adds extra amps. So you have the original 3 amps. So that was the Fullerton, which is the Fender Deluxe Reverb, the London, which is the 1962 Marshall Bluesbreaker, and the Dartford, which is a Vox AC30. So those are like classic standard amplifiers.
Okay.
But now they've added 3 high gain modes. So one is called Red, which is a PV5150, so it's like the Eddie Van Halen amplifier. Citrus, which is like an orange rock reverb amplifier, another classic rock kind of amp. And then Tread, which is a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier, so that's like a heavy metal amp. It's like your Metallica kind of sound. So that's cool. You get 3 more amps in it. And I think this is to compete with a lot of the other stuff that's come out in the last year or two. You know, you got the Boss IR2, which has, I believe, 7 modes or 11 modes on it.
Okay.
You got the Tone X1 that came out. We talked about that a while back.
I remember talking about that.
That new Nano Cortex that just came out, the Profiler. So, you know, when they put this out, the version 1, the ACS1 version 1, it was innovative. I mean, it blew other things off the market a little bit. I mean, prior to that, the Strymon Iridium was like the big one as far as like a compact amp and cap sim. And this kind of took over.
Okay.
But, you know, in the couple of years that this has been out, there's new stuff that came out. So I think this puts them back on the map. Nobody stopped using the ACS1. I mean, it was perfectly fine. But I think this really takes it up, takes it up a level.
Okay.
As far as the other ones, I'm not going to go super far deep into the other ones. But yeah, like I said, there's the D1 delay, M1 modulation, R1 reverb. They've just updated a lot of features on here. The screen makes it very easy to see where you have everything set to. So I think these are winners. The 3 that are not the ACS1, those are $399, which I believe was already the pricing on those. I could be wrong.
Okay.
And the cap sim is $449. I think that one might have gone up in price. I'm not sure. But it looks like if you order now, they're going to be available about mid-October. So
okay,
get them before the holidays.
You're still on time.
Yeah. So I think this is really cool. I mean, Walrus is always stepping it up. They're always putting out really crazy, innovative stuff.
They always have really good things. So
yeah, I've never, like I said, even the R1. If I had taken the time with the version 1 to really get to know it, I'm sure I would still have it right now. But I'm impatient with things, and I like to just have an easy plug and play pedal. But I think these are great. I have nothing bad to say about these. I think it's what they needed to do for this line.
Okay.
So what do you got? Any other final thoughts on this one?
Nope.
Cool. What would you buy for $449 instead of a amp sim?
I don't have my Costco magazine today.
Oh yeah. Well, you gotta wait till they send the next month's issue.
We didn't get another
one. Well, it doesn't have to be Costco. What would you buy? It costs $450.
No, I'm just saying. I always use Costco as a reference because you buy things on bulk, so you spend a lot of money.
Well, for us, $449. We usually go once a month, every month and a half, and we get 1 or 2 boxes of diapers in bulk.
Yep.
We get the baby wipes. When we buy meats, we stock up on them, put them in the freezer. Yep. So that's for us. That's probably like one trip to Costco right there, $449.
$449.99.
Yeah. That's like a big one for us. That's if we you decide you're going to get some Halloween stuff too.
Because you're not, you're saying like if you decide you want to get some Halloween stuff, but hold on, because every time we go to Costco, and you see the Adidas polos, you always had to stop by.
Yeah, I got to get polos for work, so.
But no matter if you already have some, you always had to get more.
Well, they're super cheap there. I mean, we both always grab more stuff than we set out to get.
Oh, 100%.
When we go to Costco,
we can have a list, which usually we have a list, and the list is gonna have like 5 items.
Yeah.
We get back home like with 20, 25, 30. Because we see things that we were not planning to, and we are like, oh, we should get this, other one. So yes, that is why we ended up on $449.
Yeah.
So that's why.
And quick note for those of you watching, if you're not listening to the audio version, we got some new mic stands, and
we did.
They're not working out very well.
They are like falling out of
these are like desk-mounted ones, and mine keeps slipping right now. So we're gonna see how this goes.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's slipping pretty bad right now.
We probably are gonna have to switch back to the other ones.
We might, yeah. I think we're definitely gonna have to. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna let it. Yep, it's just going down on its own. Anyway, let's continue. Bunch of new releases. Keeley put out a new one this week too. They've hyped this one out for a few weeks now.
I do like Keeley,
maybe a month. Let's see what they got.
Okay.
All right. So this is the Octosi. Sorry. Transfigurating fuzz pedal. Man, this thing is just really going down on me. You want to read through the description on this one?
What is the description?
I don't know. It's somewhere on the page.
Well, I had to figure out what it is.
And I think this, I've watched a couple videos on this thing. Yeah, just focus on the key features.
Oh, you want me to read through the features?
I got to try to fix this.
For someone who doesn't know much about pedals. Yeah. Okay, so here it is, people. Combines post. I'm gonna talk like I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute my mic right while I try to fix this thing.
Okay, I'm gonna talk like I know about this. So listen up. For you people, combines post, polyphonic pitch shifting, and octave effects into a single box. Okay, so there you go. Right. It has a flexible design. Okay, which is allow you to determine the effects order by holding down both foot switches.
Oh, that's cool.
Fuzz before pitch octave and octave pitch before fuzz.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay. You can actually switch the order. That's cool without having an actual dedicated extra switch on the surface.
You see, if people didn't know that I don't know shit about this, they will think that I actually do.
You convinced me. So it looks like, yeah, I'm back on the microphone here. That's cool. Yeah, don't buy Amazon $10 microphone mounts. Spend the extra $20-$30 to get a slightly better one.
There you go.
Yeah, switch between all wet signal, all dry signal. It looks like you do have... Oh, no, it's just one output. You have a control, expression control. You have a remote control. Three-way scoop punch size switch provides powerful shaping of your signal's bass response. Heavy-duty angled aluminum enclosure. Remote jack and control jack seamlessly fit into any setup. True bypass construction. Keep your tone clean and uncolored when the pedal is disengaged. So essentially, and I know I'm not going to be correct in this in the way I'm going to describe this.
Okay.
It's as if you combined a Big Muff with a Digitech whammy. You get all these different octave and pitch features and stuff. You can go up, you can go down. You can do a dual where you have both. You can do it momentary, I believe. Is that right? Is that what you were reading? Did it say momentary?
I forgot.
Flexible switch design.
I totally just.
You know, I've watched like 5. Yeah, it does say momentary and latching. Okay, so yeah. So momentary, you can just have it where you, as you're pushing down, the octave is into effect, and then as you take your foot off the switch, it disengages.
I don't know what momentary is.
So it's just, it only works while you're holding down the switch.
Oh, well, you should have started by saying that.
So that's good, because you can kind of like, you know, bring it in and out.
Okay.
I've seen some people doing some really cool stuff with this. I have not heard any two people make it sound exactly the same.
I mean, that's kind of cool.
I think what's like that. Really useful about this is you can hook up an expression pedal to it and really operate it as if it was a Digitech whammy or a Electro-Harmonix, what is that, pitchfork, which I believe you can also hook a expression up to that. Really, you know, what can we say? It's Robert Keeley, so he always has some crazy stuff going on. And him and his team, there's a reason they're one of the, you know, highest regarded boutique builders out there. You know, he's one of the originals. He's come a long way. $250 on this thing. It says $20 price drop. I do believe in the email they sent out that this is the introductory price is $250. So I'm guessing $269 is probably going to be like the standard pricing once the hype kind of goes down a little bit. It's in stock. I'm surprised it isn't completely sold out right now.
What site are you looking right now?
This is on Sweetwater, but I imagine on their website direct, it probably is sold out.
Oh.
But yeah, I think this is really cool. As far as your regular controls, you get the blend for the pitch, fuzz, level, and tone. I do think this is does kind of sound like a Big Muff to me. But it never says directly on here, but Octa-Psi, it looks like the pi symbol a little bit, the logo.
Kind of does, though.
The enclosure size. And this is just like their 4-in-1 series. This, you can tell, this looks like those are those new enclosures that they're making in-house. They're not getting these, you know, from a supplier or anything. It looks like, yeah. Yeah, it just looks like a bigger version of their 4-in-1 series. And even the knobs, I believe they're making these knobs themselves.
Oh, that is really cool.
So I'm sure they're cutting costs on their end by being able to just buy the equipment one time and then, be able to make the stuff themselves. And it always blows my mind that Keeley just keeps outdoing themselves. So yeah, final thoughts on that. 250. Would you buy it?
I don't know. Do you think I can run my kalimba through that?
You can run a kalimba through that. It would sound crazy. Yeah. Well, yeah, because that would give you octaves so you can change between different pitches and stuff. Yeah.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, because you've been getting heavier into the kalimba looping and.
I do. I like how it sounds.
Yeah, you did that one yesterday. You ran through my pedal board. Yeah. So you were running through a couple Keeley pedals right there. The Compressor Plus.
I will say this, and I talked to you about this yesterday. I don't know how I got the sound that I got, but I think it sounds cool. So whatever it was that I pressed.
Yeah. Well, I set you up with a plume. I set you up with the plumes for like a basic boost. You had the Keeley Compressor Plus, just to kind of keep it from getting too crazy as far as the volume, because I didn't know how your input volume would be, because there's no volume control on the kalimba.
Yeah.
It's just a piezo pickup to a jack. Then plumes for a little bit of clean boost. The blues driver, I think, was giving you that like lo-fi distorted tone. And then, God, what else is on the board? JHS 3 Series chorus in the vibrato mode.
Okay.
Give you a little bit of warble.
I did like the JHS though.
Yeah.
I think that's
one of my
sounded
favorites,
really nice on the kalimba though.
So that and the blues driver probably gave you that nice lo-fi warble. Yeah. And then Walrus fundamental series delay on the reverse mode going into the caverns, which is usually how I run my guitar too. But that into the looper, you had a microphone hooked up to the looper as well, doing your singing bowls.
Yeah.
God, what else? I don't remember what we set up for you. Singing bowls. What did you have? Some shakers and stuff.
I have some shakers. Yeah. I have what's the name? I call it different way, but it has
the rain stick.
The rain stick.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the official name for it. That's what we called it when I was a kid.
Probably that's not the name.
It probably is. I don't know.
I want to check. I thought it had another name.
But yeah, I think we just need more Keeley pedals. That's the moral of the story there.
Huh?
Is it rain stick?
It's called a Rainmaker.
Rainmaker. Okay. I don't know which one to go to next because there's just so many. We're going to go to the Warm Audio. They have 2 releases this week.
Okay.
Now, Warm Audio, in the last couple years, they've been known to be... So, the company Behringer.
I think so, yeah.
That orange super fuzz that everyone has. So Behringer, they've been known to be like copycats of well-known circuits, and they'd put them for a long time in those plastic enclosures, and they copy like big name products. They've been doing the same with
really popular on the pedal war.
Yeah, well, Behringer has been doing direct
just
clones.
To copy things.
Behringer ran into some like lawsuits and stuff. So they've been doing that with synthesizers, pedals, but now Warm Audio in the last couple of years, they've been jumping in on discontinued products, knowing that they can't get sued.
Oh,
and
smart.
They kind of stepped up, and they kind of took like, the same path that Behringer took as far as like, let's take this circuit and just do a direct copy of it. So they have a Klon Centaur, same enclosure, same knobs and everything, but it's the I think might be called the Centavo. I might have that mixed up with a different clone. So they've got the clone. They've got a clone of the Zen Drive called the Warm Drive. Tone Bender. They have the Warm Bender, so you can see the kind of the theme here.
I can see where that's going.
But they've done, a few pedals like that so far. The Fox Tone Machine. I don't remember what they call theirs, like the Foxy Machine or something. But they're just direct, identical copies. And they've been doing this with rack units too and microphones. So the 1176 compressor is a well-known, I believe Universal Audio was the company that originally made that. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But the 1176 style compressor, that's a really well-known. Every pedal company these days is doing their own take on it. Origin Effects has the Cali 76.
Okay.
I believe Wampler has a new one out recently. But Warm Audio, they've been making the rack unit version for a while now. But they just launched the Pedal 76. limiting amplifier. So this actually has the VU meter on the pedal.
I like that.
That looks really cool.
I think was looking at that. Really I like classy. That.
And you get ratio, attack, release, output, input, and /comp. This looks really nice. $269. Not a whole lot to say about it. I mean, if you're familiar with the 1176 style compressor, this does it. It's a FET compressor. Adds sustain, dynamic control, vintage girth to any signal you feed in it. Now, this is interesting because people have used these in the studios for years, the 1176s, but they've used them different ways. Like Jimmy Page used to stack compressors to get like a crazy distorted sound. What I'm curious about is if somebody buys this pedal, are they putting it at the beginning of their chain like a lot of people do with the compressor, or is it because the style of this compressor, are they going to put it at the very end? Because you could put this after like an amp and cab simulator too, to give it like an actual studio sound. Like make this the very last thing, even after your sims, or your modeler or anything. But the back panel, I mean, it's got a lot going on there.
It does have a lot.
You got the input, you've got balanced output, so that's like probably your direct out to go to recording. There's a drive switch to go from high and low drive, so that's pretty cool. Amplifier out. So you get multiple outs, you get buffered and true bypass, it looks like. Just insane. I mean, the things they've been putting out, just like the other ones we've already talked about. I mean, if you put a board together with all the releases from this past week, I mean, you can't go wrong. I think you got like a perfect studio grade setup. So
what you're saying is that you want all the releases from
this week. We get all those Walrus pedals. We get the Summer School. We get the WEM. We get the Keeley. You know, we put all this stuff together, and you got a great pedal board.
Huh. I see.
But yeah, this thing just looks like a work of art right here. I don't know how you feel about it.
I do like the way it looks, though.
I mean, it's not every day you see a pedal with the VU meter.
The VU meter, actually, that looks really cool there, though.
I remember a few years back, because Earthquaker Devices put out an April Fool's Day prank pedal. A lot of companies do that, where they put out, like, they announce a pedal, but it's not real.
Okay.
And they put one out, they were calling it the Tune Job. And the way it was going to look was a classic Earthquaker layout, but then they had a VU meter that was almost like an old school back in the 60s and 70s, before they had, like regular digital tuners that they have today. So it had a big VU meter to tell you like if you were in tune or not. And I believed it was real because I didn't look at the calendar. I didn't realize what day it was. I got excited. I sent it to my roommate. I was like, oh man, look at this new tuner coming out. Like, that's fucking crazy. Didn't exist. But it's cool to see. I don't know how they get that into a pedal format where it's not with the needle. It's got to be very fragile, I would think.
I don't know.
You can't just be stomping on this thing.
I don't know. It looks cool.
Yeah. I'm pretty happy with like the Keeley style compressor. I don't think this is something I would want to mess around with too much, but like if you were doing like some serious studio stuff, that's probably the way to go. So they have another release this week too.
Okay.
They've got a clone of the classic Boss CE1 Chorus Vibrato, which is like the first big Boss
who's
pedal.
that?
This is Warm Audio.
Oh.
Same company. Looks exactly like the Boss CE1. So this is before they started doing their compact series. This is what their pedals kind of look like early on.
Kind of lame though.
It was the 70s. But yeah. Input level, you get high and low. So you get the classic CE1 preamp, which is very sought after. Chorus, you get rate and depth controls. Vibrato, you get rate and depth controls. You have your effect on and off switch. And the switch just go between your chorus and vibrato modes. Famous people that have used this, John Frusciante, I don't know how to say his name, from Red Hot Chili Peppers. He's probably the biggest name that has used the Boss CE1. And if you want to find a classic CE1, I mean, you're paying hundreds of dollars, if not in the low thousands. For this, $189. And again, it's in stock at Sweetwater. I'm surprised these aren't completely sold out yet. Now, this is also got stereo outputs. So that's pretty cool.
What does that do for you?
I don't remember if the original. Well, stereo allows you to split the signal between two different amps, two different sets of pedals after it. You can do two different chains. So, you know, you can do whatever you want with it. If you just want to run mono, you just plug into this one. Our looper does the same thing. We could have done that with you yesterday. Have you run two different amps?
But you didn't tell me.
Yeah. Well, it's more complicated setup. I'm not a big fan of running stereo. It's extra work. I mean, people that are interested in that, though, it's always great to have that as an option. Like right now, I don't think, other than the looper that we were just talking about, I don't think I have any stereo pedals. I would prefer, instead of having a stereo pedal, like a specific one that is stereo, because this is a chorus, so this would go towards like the middle of my chain. I would run several other pedals after it. I don't want to have, you know, one going out dry after the chorus and one going to like my reverbs and delays. I would rather at the end of my chain have like a splitter, so I can send the signal out to 2 amps from there. So that's not like a true stereo. That's just more or less 2 mono outputs going to 2 amps. The benefit of some stereo effects is, and I believe this is the classic, I don't want to say the wrong thing here. I think this is the same circuit that they put in the Roland JC amps. Not in the one that we have back there. I don't know if you can see it. It's actually just over your shoulder. We got the JC22. That's actually a digital circuit. That's not this original analog chorus vibrato. But the bigger ones, like the JC, 40 and the 120, 60, 70, I think all those have this original circuit built in. So it's just a really sought after thing. This one does have the True Bucket Brigade analog Texas Instrument op amps. So that's pretty cool. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. Yeah, so True Bucket Brigade chips and 3 Texas premium Texas Instruments op amps. And these are built in Austin, Texas. So American made.
Good.
Yeah. There you go. It's not a boutique company by any means. This is a large-scale manufacturer.
But it's built in Texas.
Built in Texas. Yeah. I think it's just another one of their, well-done clones of a famous pedal. I'm curious to see where else they're going to take these things. I would buy it. $189 if we had that kind of money. Sure. What do you think? You think it looks lame?
I think it looks lame.
I just think it looks vintage.
It looks way too plain.
There are other companies making the same kind of thing right now. God, what is it? I think it's JFFX, I think is the name of the company. There's a guy that just makes the John Frusciante style pedals. Like he just makes exact recreations of the pedals that John uses. And that is his whole brand. That's what he does. I think they're called JFFX. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I know I follow the guy on Instagram, but I can't remember. So he makes one, and I believe the company Past Effects also makes one. So you have options in the market. You don't have to, if you want that sound, you don't have to go with this. Like there are probably at least 5 or 6 other companies, maybe even doing it a little bit cheaper. But $189 is pretty competitive for a true Bucket Brigade analog delay and vibrato. There's still so many. I think we're going to run out of time before we can get them all. This one I think is really cool. Universal Audio, they've been doing their amp and cab sim pedals for a while now, a couple years. They did it was called the Anti a couple weeks back, maybe a month ago. And that was like the 5150 Eddie Van Halen amp. So this one is the Enigmatic 82 Overdrive Special. So this is supposed to be a clone of the Dumble style amplifiers.
Okay.
So have I shown you Dumble?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And you showed me that pedal too, which I remember when you showed it to me. Mm-hmm. I told you it looks really cool.
Yeah. To buy a Dumble on the used market, I mean, he died 2 or 3 years ago, I think. Maybe last year.
I don't remember.
To buy a Dumble, you're spending somewhere in the tens of thousands. There's that famous meme of John Mayer on an airplane, and he has one sitting in his lap because he doesn't want to risk it getting damaged in the flight. But Dumble, it's hard to say, and this is what a lot of people like. I watched the Andertons video, I watched a couple other videos about it, and like just read people talking about it online. Nobody, the general public, most people have never played a Dumble to know to compare this to anything. And the thing is, he made pedals specifically for artists.
Oh.
Or I said pedals, didn't I? He made amps specifically for artists.
Well, that makes more sense.
So, you know, when John Mayer gets one or two from him, they're made for John Mayer. So he never actually made the same amp exactly the same twice. There were always slight tweaks.
How did he get known?
He'd been doing it for decades. He'd been doing it since I believe the 70s or 80s. I believe.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Is,
like
just
to be able to do it just for famous people. Like, how do you get to that point without selling to the regular public?
I believe he started off. I don't know his whole story. I believe he started off just modding Fender amps, and got well known for doing that as like a tech for well-known artists, and then started making them himself. And he did it with the highest end components imaginable. That's a joke on the internet too. Is like he talked about something called like the crystal lattice, which like nobody knows what the fuck that actually is. Like he had this terminology for like how he made these amps, the way he made them, and I think he just put a lot of effort and hard work, and you know, like I said, the highest end components you could possibly get. But this one, all their pedals, all the Universal Audio amp sims, it's kind of like the Walrus thing where you get, you know, dual functionality in some of these knobs. I believe you get 9 cab sims, 3 amps, you get 2. Yeah, you get the rock, the jazz. So the rock and jazz modes are something he put in all his amps, even though they weren't necessarily like actually like jazz sounds. It's just the way he labeled his stuff. And then you get custom, so you can completely customize yours. And the way these pedals work is you have an app. So the app is where you kind of control like which sims you're plugging into it, which cab sims. And yeah, you can do it in real time through your phone while you're playing it. You don't have to like unhook it, hook it up to the computer.
That is pretty cool.
I mean, this whole series, it started off with 3 of them. You had your Fender, your Vox, and your Marshall, I believe. No. Fender, Vox. I don't know. They had 3 of them, and now they've got like, I think there's got to be at least 10 or 12 different ones in the series. And they're not all just amp and cab sims. They've got like the Space Echo clone. They've got a modulation one. They have one that is just like they've got an aux box, which is like a big attenuator thing for your amp. You can run your amp head into it and then set your volume and effects and stuff through that before it goes to your speakers. So it's like an in-between from your amp to your speakers. And that has a whole, that's like I think like a $3,000 unit or something.
Damn.
Don't quote me on that because I'm not interested in that kind of stuff. So I've never looked into the pricing. I've seen them come up. But again, you know, you need an app to power this and get the full use out of it. You could just plug and play as is.
Well, you're not going
to get the full functionality out of it. Because you might not want the cab sims. You can also turn off the cab sims if you don't plan on this being like your last thing in the chain.
Okay.
Because the purpose of the cab sims is you're going to run this directly to your recording setup or your live setup without an amp. But if you're using an amp, you can turn off the cab sims and then you just have a nice preamp. $399, you know, that's pretty average for these pedals. I do think, honestly, between this and their Fender one, the Dream 65, I think those are the best sounding 2 that they've got. My opinion. I don't know. But I like classic Fender style sounds. This one it's got a great overdrive sound built in. What do you think, though?
I don't know. Again, this is a new pedal, so I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, I don't think I had a chance to show you this one yet.
Other than you showing the picture to me. But I will say this.
Yeah.
You know, I always criticize the way pedals look.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, a lot of people will say that's the only thing that she has to say about a pedal because she doesn't know much about it.
But you're actually starting to get into them now. You're actually, like last night, you were actually using pedals.
Oh, I was using it on Twitch.
Yeah, you're streaming.
Yeah. But this design
Yeah.
is simple.
Yeah.
But it's so weird though, because it's so simple, but it looks so cool. Because some other designs with other brands, like the one that you just showed me, that you say you think it looks vintage.
Oh,
but it's like so
the CE1
simple.
clone,
Yeah. But this one, I don't know if it's the color, if it's the
that's
knobs.
a really nice gold with
I don't know what it
cream
is,
knobs.
but it looks really nice. So
Um,
I don't know. It seems like it does have a lot of functionality, and it will be something that people will use a lot.
Yeah, and this one does give you the stereo inputs, stereo outputs. So for those that love their stereo, you know, you got it.
Why is a USB to connect to the app?
Yeah, if you want to update the firmware and stuff. But another complaint that I think people are going to have with this series is that it's yet another one that does not have a headphone output. So a lot of competitors have headphone outputs built in, so you can practice with it. So that's another complaint, that I guess they're just not going to update that on these pedals. But this is, I think, the third one in this series this year. Damn. Maybe the fourth, because they had the Oxbox one. I think that might have been this year. Could have been late last year. The Lion, which was their high gain Marshall. They had the anti, the PV5150, and now this one. So they're just gonna keep going with all these classic amps, and that's good. I mean, I love amps. They take up a lot of space.
Oh, they do.
And I don't play live, but I wouldn't want to tote around, you know, my big heavy Fender Twin. So if I were to play live, realistically, I would be looking at something like one of these. But pricey, $399. What do you think? You want to move on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before you buy it, just go ahead and
move on. It's already in the cart. You get $20.
Whose Sweetwater card is
out? You get $20 back in bonus bucks.
Whose Sweetwater card is out?
There's just so many.
By the way,
yeah,
this is something important to say.
Yeah,
that I was waiting to call you out on that.
Oh.
For the people listening to the podcast, can you believe my birthday is coming up?
Mm-hmm.
And he dared to say that he was looking on Sweetwater for something to give me for my birthday.
I asked you, what do you want from Sweetwater?
What is that about?
Well, I don't know. Maybe there's something you had your eye on. What do you want
from Sweetwater?
Maybe you had your eye on something. Maybe you want to update to you want to get some more hand percussion. Add to your looping rig.
He was trying to gaslight me.
You can get some bongos.
Into something that he wants. So I could ask that from Sweetwater for my birthday.
Some chimes. You can get some chimes. You know, I don't know.
Unbelievable.
I wasn't gonna be like, hey, do you want to get this? Do you want this pedal that I want for your birthday?
Oh, but the conversation was heading like that way. Yeah, it was. I'm just calling you out right there.
Okay, we've got about 40 minutes, just under 40 minutes left on the battery here, it looks like. So, Diamond is back with another pedal. This is not one from their previous... so I talked to you about Diamond before. For those of you watching and listening, if you're not aware, Diamond was a boutique brand.
Yeah.
They got pretty big for a while. I remember they were carried in catalogs and stuff for a while. They had some good dealers and stuff. I believe Musician's Friend might have carried them at some point. I don't remember exactly. Pandemic killed them. They went out of business. So
but you say this is a new release.
Yeah. So Solid Gold Effects. This is a Canadian company, Diamond Effects.
Okay.
Or Diamond Pedals. So when they went under, Solid Gold Effects got in contact with them. There were other people. I think JHS was one of the companies that was desperately trying to get their hands on this brand.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But Solid Gold, being a fellow Canadian company, they were willing to partner and license out their stuff to revive the brand.
Oh,
so,
nice.
God, I think it was last year when they brought back the brand and they put them in these nice compact enclosures. They used to be in like wider enclosures than this. So I think this is the first new original release that is not a reissue. The Dark Cloud reverb, or no, delay. Sorry, I said reverb. So I didn't get to check this one out a whole lot. True to the diamond design ethos of our DBBD's hybrid analog architecture, Dark Cloud unlocks a new frontier delay technology unattainable by standard bucket brigade circuits. Powered by embedded systems, Dark Cloud seamlessly blends input and output signals, crafting tape, harmonic, and reverse delays with organic warmth and analog companding in the meticulous precision of digital control. So it's a hybrid, analog and digital. It looks like you have actual bucket brigade chips in there, but a digital brain. So it's pretty interesting. Combining character, analog, companion. Yeah, it kind of repeats itself. I don't like when these. Okay, here's some classic ones. They had like the Diamond Quantum Leap and the Diamond Counterpoint. Looks like they're taking a bit of the topology from both of those. But you get your tape delay mode, which is, your classic tape sound. We talked about that in episode 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Harmonic delay. So yeah, it says that's from the Quantum Leap pedal. Adds a delayed octave or fifth above the input signal. So you're adding some nice harmonics to your delayed signal. It doesn't add it to your wet signal or to your dry signal, just to the wet end of things. So it gives you enchanting upward spirals like musical lightning in a dark sky. And then reverse, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Says this one is a smooth lo-fi reverse delay, expanded time range. Analog feedback causes the repeats to alternate between reverse and forward playback. Now that's cool, because it'll have them swapping back and forth between reverse and forward delays. So that might be a completely original idea there. Yeah.
For pedal companies.
Yeah.
When you describe a pedal and you say spirals like musical lightning in a dark sky, and people like me that doesn't know shit about it.
I know pedals pretty well, and this doesn't mean anything to me.
What do you mean?
It's just pretty wording.
Musical lightning? What do you mean? What is that in a dark sky?
Well, it's the name of the pedal. It's the Dark Cloud. So
well, they need to be more
lightning in a dark sky.
They are saying.
They're just trying to be on brand with the pedal. Beautiful looking pedal. It's got that black sparkle to it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're not convinced?
I'm not convinced with that musical lining. They lost me there.
So aside from your 3 modes, tape, harmonic, and reverse, you get a tap tempo, which is pretty standard with, most delays these days. Let's see, what's the price point on this thing? It's got to be expensive. Oh, $250.
$250.
I like Diamond. I like their vibrato. I think is like that and their compressor are the 2 big ones.
Wait, but if another company bought this company, does it still make it a boutique company?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because Solid Gold, they're considered a boutique company.
Okay.
They're not huge. They've got distributors and stuff and dealers, but they're not they're not Boss or Electro Harmonics or anything. They're a decent sized company.
Okay.
But $250, that would not be top of my list. Their other delay would probably be, or even like one of their other pedals used or something. But their vibrato is the one that really stands out to me because that's my favorite modulation effect. And I don't need any more delays or reverbs right now. As far as the reverse mode, I think that's the thing that really stands out to me the most on this pedal. Is that like I said, the alternating reverse and forward delays. I don't think I've heard of that. Maybe the Line 6 DL4 might do that, but I don't know of any other pedal that actually has that functionality.
I bet if I say a bunch of alphabet letters and I just add like A54, people will actually think that that's a pedal.
Oh, probably.
Like, what's the company? Is it a boutique company?
It's A54 Effects, yeah.
Have you heard about that?
Well, there's a pedal called 29 Pedals. So, and they make
it's just
cool
with
stuff.
these pedals names.
Now,
like,
we're down to the final 4 listings.
We still have 4?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So we might have to blast through these a little bit. Benson.
And 289. Oh my gosh.
Benson amps.
Okay.
Now, you remember when I got the JHS Punchline?
Yeah.
And that was a collaboration with the Beach Boys. So other companies that were partnered in that, there was Keeley. Keeley had 2 pedals. JHS had 2 pedals, and then Benson had an amp. Or sorry, it wasn't an amp. It was a spring reverb unit, and that thing sold out fast.
In collaboration with who?
The Beach Boys in Sweetwater.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a big collaboration they all did. So all 3 companies made their own individual product, and they had free reign to do whatever they wanted within the categories that they picked. So like JHS did the punchline bass pedal. They did a vibrato unit, like a Univibe. Keeley did a 12-string simulator, and I believe they did a rotary speaker simulator. And then Benson did a full-on big spring reverb tank. And that one was, they were all limited releases. I think the pedals were all 1,000 each, but I think they only had like 62. I could be wrong. Of the spring reverb, and that sold out the first day.
Okay.
Like that thing was immediately sold out. So they're all handmade in Portland, Oregon. All their amps and pedals. They partnered with David Torn, guitarist and composer David Torn, to put out the, I'm going to say this wrong, Storkenbox.
Okay.
I think that's the name. It's a take on their Stonk box, which is just a fuzz pedal, which I believe is like a Zonk machine, classic fuzz from back in the day. I could be wrong on that. Let's see. Yep, heavily modified version of a tone better Mark I fuzz. So it's a Super Mark I range. So that was what the Stonk box was. It's just a Mark I tone bender. Now in this, they've added an oscillation control.
What for?
When you step on it, it makes the pedal self-oscillate. So you get this crazy droning noise, which, pretty cool. You usually get that with delay pedals, not fuzzes. Death by Audio has done that before in the past. They put oscillation, like their supersonic fuzz gun, did the oscillation stuff like that.
Okay.
So I think it's a cool feature. It's very for a specific sound. It's going to be like noise music. I'm not familiar with who David Torn is.
Had no idea.
Let's see. Self-noise oscillation, Chris applied, memorized. See, I don't even know who this is. Carson McWhorter. He used a diode network and oscillation path, synth filters. I don't know. It's a cool fuzz pedal. Benson does some cool stuff, and you guys should all buy it.
Okay.
That's my conclusion on that one. This is one that I just found out about today. This might have come out today or yesterday. I just kind of jotted it down. I wasn't totally familiar with it. I don't think I've actually watched a video on it yet. But Benson has been doing some pretty cool stuff. They got their delay pedal came out about 1.5 years ago.
But you know what?
Yeah.
I came to this conclusion.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a really Hank Hill kind of thing.
Okay.
Made in America.
It's made in America. But no, because Hank Hill would not be happy with the fact that it's made in Portland, Oregon. Those damn druggies in Portland.
But I think
better be made in Texas.
Based on Hank Hill here, philosophy. Why to go for a pedal maker that
like made in China.
Yeah, and nothing against that. I'm just saying that it's worth it to buy for someone who's making something locally.
I mean,
I don't know.
It helps.
It helps the
even
economy,
in the smallest way.
the
Even in the smallest way, you are helping like the American economy. But still, I mean, that matters to some people and to others it doesn't.
Oh, you ask Hank about what
Well,
is it?
that
The
one-
cars, the Ford.
The Ford. Oh yeah.
Is it the
I can't remember.
Ford?
Was it?
The cars that the Fiat.
Oh, that was Dale. Dale was
Yeah.
like, you know what they say about Ford? Fix it again, Tony. And he's like, that's Ford, Dale. Or that's Fiat, Dale. But no, I don't know. I don't like Ford either. On a separate note, I'm not a fan. Also, I haven't had very good experiences with Chevy. I think Toyota's the most reliable car brand I've used. I've had a few Toyotas. My dad had that classic Toyota too, back in the day of that pickup truck. little tiny.
But we're getting out of there.
Anyway, yeah. So nothing like the hand-dug American worm. The episode where he goes fishing.
Oh my gosh.
And he starts buying crack thinking it's fish bait. Alright, so Storkenbox. Hard to say, but looks cool. It's got that hammered metal enclosure. Classic Benson layout. Looks like all their other pedals. $289. $289, kind of pricey for it's a signature pedal of an artist that I don't think most people are going to be familiar with.
I don't know.
I feel bad because I probably if I look into him, I'll be like, oh, he did that soundtrack or something.
There's probably going to be a lot of people saying like, David Torn, you don't know who
David
that
Torn?
one is?
Yeah, if you know David Torn, if David Torn is watching, please leave a comment.
I'm sorry.
Please leave a comment. Anyway.
Okay.
Let's see what else we got. Now, these ones, I didn't watch a single video on these. REVV is a brand of amplifier. I believe this is another Canadian company. We're just talking about Diamond.
Okay.
This is their G2, G3, and G4 anniversary pedals.
What did I just say? You can put the letter of the alphabet and you can put any number and people will believe it's a pedal. Yeah. You say G2, G3, G4. There you go.
The REVV G2 was developed alongside Nashville's premier session guitarist and quickly, so it's like a Nobels ODR1, probably.
Okay.
Yep, seems like it's probably just it's an organic amp in a box based on the G120. So to me, it looks like this is one of their amps. Like it's a pedal in a box version of one of their amps.
Okay.
But focused around kind of like a ODR1 overdrive.
Okay.
Okay, that's what the original G2 looks like. That's kind of lame. REVV's not a company I'm super familiar with. It's kind of pricey. I think some of their stuff looks cool. From what I've heard, they sound pretty good, but I just haven't delved into any of their stuff really. $229. So that's the G2. Let's see what the G3 is all about. So G2's got green knobs. G3 has purple knobs. A revolution in high gain pedals in 2018 with its tube-like response, tight, clear, high gain tones, selling the same boutique tones used by metal artists, producers worldwide are available to anyone in a compact pedal. Now the G3 returns with a new V2 circuit revision that raises the bar again. I hate when you read the description on all these websites. It seems like all these pedal companies are doing this. You read the initial description underneath the price, and you scroll down to info and specs, and it tells you the same exact description.
Shame.
So features. Amp in a box pedal based around the G120. Isn't that what the last one said?
I think
okay,
so.
This is the purple channel of the G120. So I guess you have 3 or 4 channels on this amp.
But this one says aggressive.
So you're going up in gain stages.
Oh.
I get it now. The G2 is like your first level of gain. G3 is your second level of gain. And then I'm guessing G4 is like all-out metal. REVV G4 delivers organic and unique voice of Canadian distortion. You know that classic Canadian distortion? You know it?
Nickelback? Would that be?
Rush, maybe? I don't know.
Avril Lavigne? No.
Is she Canadian? She is.
I think she is.
I think you're right. I think you're Did I ever tell you I had a picture from a newspaper from when she first came out?
Oh my gosh.
She was in the newspaper.
And
it was like, Avril Lavigne is this new up-and-coming punk girl. And I hadn't heard her music yet. But I was like 8 years old. Maybe I was a little bit younger. I don't know.
And you decided that was the love
I
of your
cut
life?
that out of the newspaper. I put that on my little poster board in my room. And when the CD came out, her first album, I asked my mom, like, I need to have this. Like, they say she's this up-and-coming punk girl. I gotta hear it.
How old were you?
I don't know how old I was when that album came out. I was either 6, 7, or 8. I was in that range. Very disappointed.
Did you get disappointed at 8 years old?
She had like 3 songs that were like kind of in the range of being punk, but it was, pop punk, and then I didn't care for that. Skater Boy, and then I can't even think of any heroes. Why did you have to go make things so complicated?
I know that one.
I don't even know what the name of that song is. And then there was like one other on the album, and then I skipped through the rest of the other ones. Very disappointed. But my expectations were a photograph in the newspaper. So I was a weird little kid.
You thought that she was hot.
Yeah, I guess
you were
so.
like, her music is gonna be good.
For being like 7 years old, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I think at the time, wasn't she like 14 or 15 when the first album came out? Or probably in my head, I thought she was. I don't know. She's probably like 20. Anyway, I don't know what unique voice of Canadian distortion means, but they've got it in this G4 anniversary edition.
And
graphically,
what's that color of knobs? Well, it says red channel.
It's red. It's a red channel. See, it's based on the G120 red channel. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. We'll have to look into this a little bit more to see like what the G120 sounds like. But it just seems like it's a three or four channel amplifier, and each one is based on a different gain stage.
Okay.
Each one of these is $229. Having looked at their website and seen what the version 1 looks like versus this, I would definitely get this over the version 1 just because it looks cool. It looks a lot better.
The first version looks really lame.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure if that's what you're into, but I wonder if it's cheaper to get all three of these or the actual amp.
Mm.
So let's look up this G120. Let's see what they got.
You want to look for that?
Yeah.
I guess so.
Watch it be like. Oh, maybe they don't have it anymore.
You just stuck to the same page.
Maybe I don't know what the G120 is. I don't know. Is that not an amp that they sell? Is G120 like a different company's amp? I don't even know. I don't know all these amp names and stuff. I know like the basic fucking Fenders, Marshalls, and Vox amps. All right, so I just want to touch on this real quick because we are starting to run low on time. So Nobels, we were just talking about Nobels, the green channel on that amp. Seems like it's based around the Nobels.
I'm just checking on my phone what G120 is.
It sounds familiar. I'm sure I know
Acoustic G120 amp.
That's not it. I used to have that amp.
You used to have
I used to have the acoustic G120. That's the one I painted pink. I sold it to that mariachi guy.
Didn't you?
Yeah. I sold it to a dude in a mariachi band.
Well.
Anyway, so Nobels has two new pedals. So the ODR1 is the classic Nashville overdrive.
Okay.
A lot of session musicians, made this thing famous. So now they have the ODR1X. So it has their basic controls as drive, spectrum, and level. They've added a bass cut, a gain boost, and of course you get true bypass switching offered on the inside. You can turn that on and off. They, for the last few years, have had the mini version, the ODR Mini. They've updated that too with the Mini 2. So you get drive, level, and spectrum, like the other one, with the added bass cut. So you get full all the way to the left, all the way to the right. It cuts the bass out. So added functionality. I think this is something that people are really looking for. Can't go wrong with the Nobels sound. It's that classic Nashville guitar sound. People have been using for decades. Now, at the price point, I know the Mini, I think, was like $79 for the version 1.
That's not bad. I
think you're looking at like $100 or $150 for the big one. So the ODR1X, oh, here you go, it has a price different. 150 euros, 129 pounds. Is that pounds or euros?
I have no idea.
Yeah, 149 euros, 129 pounds. I hope I'm reading this right. And $149. Yeah, $150. So I think it's the same price as the version 1.
Yeah, because the Mini is $69.
Yeah, Mini 69. Okay. Might be worth checking out that Mini.
Here we go again.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I just want to highlight those because I saw those pop up today. Really? I don't know if they came out yesterday or not, but like I saw that this morning and I was like, oh, add that to the list for this week because I think this week, just the ones that we found, I'm sure I missed like a ton of them. And like I said, we didn't do any guitars, basses at all this week. Fender did announce the Mark Hoppus signature Jaguar bass is coming soon. So that's something. And just off the top of my mind, there is another release, and I can't remember what it was that I didn't write down. That was like a coming soon thing and slipped my mind. Other than that, I've got one more for you.
Okay.
Now this one, I don't think you know this brand. This is Zero Fret.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
So the Zero Fret, he is a one-man operation based out of the UK, and he does a lot of like doom metal style pedals. So I believe he has HM2 clones. He has, I want to say he's done like a Metal Zone style thing, but he does a lot of those heavy, sludgy fuzzes. Rats, big muffs, copies of just a lot of different stuff. So this one is actually a preamp. So it's the GT120, Fat Amp GT120. Now it says coming soon on their website. This doesn't come out until Monday, I believe.
Oh wow!
And I believe he hand paints everything.
That looks cool.
Yeah, he's got a little badge on there, so hand painted with a badge. Pretty cool. Free worldwide shipping. Not much to say here. I mean, it's based on the Matt Amp, which is a spinoff of Orange Amplifiers. The GT120, which is a really famous amp that a lot of people like. Matt Pike from the band Sleep and High on Fire. He was well known for using these for a while.
Okay.
It's a FET-based version of the famous Matt Amp circuit, designed to offer a close sound to the original as possible. Go from sparkly clean low gain to overdrive to all the way to roaring fuzz distortion while maintaining a vast amount of note clarity. Now, I did see him posting about this today.
I will say this, for all the pedals that we have looked today, it seems like the boutique, the one-man kind of business, they are doing a really good job on design. Like they are putting the effort on putting something out that is not just sound, but it has like really nice like hand paint, or the designs are unique. And I think the big companies, because they are like mass production, they kind of lose that over time.
Yeah.
Though.
I mean, this versus that Rev one we were just looking at, this blows that out of the water.
And you were saying it's just a one-man operation.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, I don't know if his family members or anything, his wife or anything, help out with it. I think it's just him in his garage or something. But he's got a good social media presence, which I think helps him out too. Like, I think that's another whole thing that like people don't consider, is that like you have to have that now.
Yeah, like these days,
like you have to know how to do all that stuff yourself, like your own demos and stuff. But it says right here, it'd be equally at home on a jangly indie rock board as it would be on a searing hot and heavy doom metal board. I mean, this thing's super versatile, and to be somebody at home making the stuff as a boutique builder, you don't have access to all the same, you don't have engineers at your disposal. Like Robert Keeley, I love his pedals, I love his company, but he has a dedicated engineer on his team. JHS, I don't know if they currently have one, but they had an engineer on their team. He passed away a couple years back. But a lot of these big name companies, they bring in somebody as a specialist in engineering circuits. And for somebody at home to be doing this, like you're literally just, you're breadboarding out circuits and trying them out, and then you're studying what you can find for schematics and putting your take on it. I mean, this has come a long way from when I started playing guitar, and like boutique companies then were a plain enclosure with like a handwritten name on it.
But I will say this, if you're starting and you want to have a unique sound and a unique pedal board, it's worth to look into the boutique companies.
Now, a lot of these guys like Zero Fret, I believe you can reach out to him and tell him what you're looking for, and I'm sure he'll do it.
That is really cool.
It might cost a little bit more than their standard lineup, but like a lot of these guys do some really cool stuff. I think that was our last one. So I had 11, 12 different,
I don't even know how many
ones, but then some of those were multiple releases, like the Walrus. That was 4 or 5 different pedals on that one. So we'll just round up. I'll say like 15 pedal releases, that just the ones that we found this week. I think this is
there's more.
Now, even before we were doing this podcast, I was always interested in, learning about all the new stuff that came out every week. But I feel like this year, this was like the biggest week of releases for pedals. And like I said, we completely ignored amps, we completely ignored guitars, basses, all that stuff this week.
Why would you think it's especially this week?
I don't know, because we're still a little bit ways off from like Black Friday deals and stuff. A lot of stuff usually drops around that time. Wonder Effects, he teased that I watched his live stream the other day on Instagram. he's got like 4, I think he said 4 or 5 different pedals that are all coming out between Halloween and Thanksgiving. So he's got a bunch of stuff coming out.
Because they know that this is the time of the year when people start spending money.
Yeah, but I think some of these guys, they're just like honing in on their stuff. Like Wonder Effects, he's a one-man guy. He also owns Wonder Guitar Company, which is not a one-man operation. But like the pedal end of things, like he's got a really professional setup because he was in a well-known band called the Swellers.
I don't know that one.
Indie rock band.
Okay.
Well, I guess you can call them indie rock band. They crossed over a few different genres, but anyway, and I believe he's a producer as well, like produces albums and stuff, engineers. But yeah, he switched over pedal making full time. He's got some signature pedals with artists and stuff. But you know, you got these guys that are just like, they get these bursts of like, they get momentum and they just start going on like a bunch of different circuits all at once. Mythos pedals.
Oh,
I believe they said they've got like 3 or 4 more coming out soon, and they're opening up a guitar store. Like,
yeah.
So it's cool to see what everyone's doing out here. I don't know, makes me want to jump in on it. Like I said, we talked about that last week, how I was working on trying to, throughout the pandemic, try to, you know, start something, but maybe it's time to really start thinking about it. We'll see. So overall, what was your favorite of the day?
I don't remember the name, but the
What'd it look
school
like?
teacher.
Oh, summer school, or yeah. Am I saying the right thing?
I don't know. I don't remember it does the right
I don't
name.
know. What was the name of the pedal? Oh, no, Summer School's company. Oh, I closed the tab. It was the extra credit boost.
Extra credit boost?
Well, let me look it up.
Yeah. I don't want to say
forget?
the wrong name. Okay.
I think it was extra credit boost / preamp. Of course, when you Google extra credit, it's just people trying to boost their credit score with Experian. It also doesn't help when you Google summer school extra credit, because then it's literally people getting extra credit in summer school. Yeah, extra credit boost.
There you go.
150. So that was your big one for the week. That's your choice for the best release of the week.
That's my choice for the best release of the week. I like it. You
like
probably
it.
think about another one.
You know, I usually go with go with the Keeley as my number one. Anytime a Keeley pedal comes out, I'm like, oh, that's the one to get. I think that 0 fret release is probably the one I'd get the most use out of personally. Like that style, like the Mad Amp preamp. I could run that through the effects loop with the JC120 and get like some killer sounds out of that.
You know, but I like this one particularly because you said that you can change the volt, right?
Wait, which one?
The extra credit boost. Yeah,
okay, so you the flip switch. It goes from regular boost to where you get a transistor bass boost. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, so you get a little extra brightness and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool, versatile pedal. Anyway.
Yeah.
You got anything else you want to talk about? You got anything new coming out? We did have to get a new computer.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, we were trying to edit these videos on my laptop, and it was full storage, and we kept clearing files out every week. We were using the external hard drive, and it just got to the point where it was just moving so slow that we were transferring files from the laptop to the hard drive to her tablet, and
it was a nightmare.
You know, we just had to get a new computer. So.
Oh, and I'm doing live videos.
Oh, you started doing your live videos on Twitch too. So you're doing your singing bowls, looping with the.
I'm using pedals.
Marimba.
You see, I'm using what I'm learning here.
Yeah.
So not with guitars, but my own style.
You got to find some way to like save the files alongside doing the live streams too, so you could put them on your other social media, TikTok, and put them on. We started a Facebook group.
Oh,
for the podcast. I think it's us two and one other person has joined so far. As far as the podcast, not getting as many streams of the audio version. I think we just need to get on a few more platforms and see if it takes off. YouTube's going better than I thought it would. This is only episode 5, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, episodes 1 and 2 are almost at 200 views, I think. Getting close.
You know, like compared to thousands, but it's good.
Episode 3 is just about to hit 100, I think.
Yeah.
Episode 4, you know, we just dropped it. We dropped it late. We dropped it Wednesday of this week. So, it's I think we're at 60, maybe 50 or 60, maybe a little less than that. We might be at like 45. I don't know.
But at least it's not just your mom and my mom.
Yeah, it's moving faster than I thought it would for us having no experience at this and not really knowing how to put this out there. We don't know what we're posting. She's posting on TikTok. I'm posting in different Facebook groups because I don't know where else to network for this thing. But if you did watch this whole thing or listen to the whole thing, we appreciate the feedback.
We do.
We've been actively trying to get the images of the pedals as we talk about them on the screen right up in here in the middle between us. I think this week we're finally going to be able to get it done with the new computer. We tried last week, but it was getting too late in the week for us to drop the thing. We're going to try to stop dropping on Tuesday and aim for Sunday at the latest because we record this on Fridays. Yeah. And it doesn't really make sense to talk about the new releases of the week if it doesn't come out until the following week.
Week.
So we're going to try to drop them on Sunday. It gives us a day.
Try to do our best.
We get one day to edit pretty much. Other than that, if you like the content, please, I hate to sound cliche with it, but like, we'd appreciate the subscription, notification bell, all that good stuff. Leave us a comment. If you want to thumbs up the video, that's cool. We did get 1 thumbs down so far.
We appreciate that too.
But I like the feedback we're getting. It lets us know what direction to take things.
You see people like my Costco
People like your Costco thing, so that's pretty cool. Your price comparisons. But other than that, I don't think we have much else tonight. We're like 6 minutes from this thing running out. So cool. This is the Bad Guitars Podcast. My name is Andrew.
And my name is Scott.
And we'll see you next time.